So this is the second video, and we're going to talk about hazardous waste on this one. And there's a couple of different types. There's toxic and radioactive. We'll talk about some of the radioactive stuff more later. Toxic is discarded materials or substances that are poisonous, chemically reactive, corrosive, flammable. And these are some nasty stuff: industrial solvents, medical waste, batteries in general, pesticides. These are the things that are not legal for you to dump in your black trash cans, which many people do. But this stuff cannot go into a regular landfill. And then there's the radioactive from nuclear power plants. Like I said, when we talk about nuclear power plants, we'll talk about it a bit more. But it needs to be stored for 10,000 to 240,000 years. And we have no real clear way on how to do this effectively. Not good. So toxic waste near Mount Sac. The closest was BKK landfill, and we're going to talk about that more. So it was very close to Mount Sac, or it's at least in the valley here. And so I plan on talking about this more in the Zoom session, but that is a picture on the bottom left of a container with hazardous waste. And then there is a picture up in the 80s of BKK, and then maybe more of a recent picture down there on the bottom. But we will talk about this in our Zoom session. Okay, so here's our problem. You create this waste. What do you do with it? And one of the problems is that it's something called NIMBY, not in my backyard. So I want you to know what NIMBY stands for, not in my backyard. So we have all these things that go on, and everybody, presents this stuff, but then what do we do with it? And so a lot of these things are problems. Now, what you're seeing on the bottom right is actually a protest right outside of Mount Sac. This is actually the hillside that we own across Grand, and there's Amar and Temple. And so what's happening here is they are protesting because we were going to put solar panels up on the hillside, and they said it was going to be ugly and they did not want to see it. And so we had people protesting. We had a few people holding up signs. We had most people talking to each other. And we got somebody on the phone. I'm not sure what this guy's doing, so I'm not sure kind of protest. But this has always been a problem, is, we want solutions, but everybody is not in my backyard. All right, and electronic waste. Yeah, so here's our problem. Cell phones, computers, television sets, all this electronic stuff, printers, can't go in the trash. So it's supposed to go to electronic waste dumps, and they do have them. You can contact the county, and they have drop-offs for these. But the problem is we don't make phones to last. I mean, how long do you hold on to your phone? Well, we have a new, better product coming out every few years, and you feel like you need to change your phone. And then what do you do with your old phone? And so all that used to be recycled. The two leading producers of e-waste are the United States and China. Between 2000 and 2014, we went from 10% to 29%. So we are really now in the technological age. And much of that stuff ends up in our landfills. All the Canadian gold, rare earth metals, all of that stuff can be recycled, but we're doing it piss poorly. And we'll talk about that recycling a bit later. And so we're going to stop the share and stop the recording.